I don't know anybody that's afraid of the virus, but I know a lot of people are afraid of what's going to happen in the economy.
Michael, that is, there was a guy up here, just good old country boy, has a sign company, and he said, we'll end up with more bankruptcies than deaths. And I was like, yikes,
Yeah.
man, that's, yeah, you're saying a lot right there.
Wow.
And that's the truth, is that there's more anxiety over the components of the economy and what's happened than there is anxiety over the virus.
The Great Recession, the start of it, the real start of the Great Recession, October 2005. Tell me where you were, what business you were in, and when things took a dive for you, for the market that you were in.
It never really took a dive for the market I was in. I was actually in a company and was VP of sales, running around the country doing a lot of presentations. It was a direct sales company. And the guy had really enticed me over to joining full time. I'd been there for 18 months, and we had grown sales month over month for 18 straight months. And the 36 months before I joined had been nothing but downward growth. And it was in July of that year of '05 that my daughter was in a massive head-on accident. No alcohol or anything. It was between her junior and senior year, and she got split open from the hairline into her left eye, and they took out 2 handfuls of tissue out of her forehead to sew her back up. So she had this huge scar, and she was a beauty queen. I mean, I'll just lay it out there. And so for any girl, beauty or not, down the middle of your forehead with a scar is an emotional trauma. But she was still in a coma the next morning, and I was talking to my boss, and he had always been family, and religion. And I say religion because he wasn't really a man of faith. And he said, so we finished our call, and he said, so I'll see you in about 30 minutes. And I was like, man, I had been up since 10 o'clock at night. It's now 6 a.m. No, you're not going to see me. And there was no need for me to even be there, because what I did was out and about, throughout the country, talking to distributors and training them. And I hung up that call and I said, you and I are done. And I started at that moment, really working on prayer for, what was going to come next. And it was in December that the guy that I had hired as VP of marketing called me and said, I've been fired from the company that he and I were running, which was a DuPont ConAgra spinoff, which had been highly successful. And I said, okay, so what do you want to do? He said, I want to be an entrepreneur. And he said, I can't think of anybody better to teach me and to be a part of. He said, I can handle the administrative side. He said, but the business development, the sales, the entrepreneurial side, like better than anybody I know. And I said, well, I'm willing to jump in. And so I gave him the money to get started with what was a high-end business publication sharing best practices and elevating and telling the stories of the $5 million to $10 million or $50 million entrepreneurs that were in our community that never get any recognition. And so I gave him the money to get started, and that was in December of '05. And then that Christmas, I had to meet with that guy, that boss again, and he started berating me and telling me that I didn't have anything to do with the sales increases. And I've always said, I learned more about how to run a company from that guy than I did anyone else, because it was everything you didn't want to do.
Right.
And Mike, it was one of those times where, you're going through it, but you keep a positive attitude and you just keep learning. And, I've got stacks of stuff over here of just notes and notes and notes. I just take notes. Anybody I listen to, when I listen to you, I just jot down notes, and they pile up, and then they comprise together. Well, we didn't know it. I mean, we're sitting there starting a business publication in 2006 of January. who in the right mind is going to start a print publication at that time? And then who knew that the economy was going bust, and it had started in October of '05 with the real estate market. And, we came out and we did $250,000 our first year, did $1 million the second year, did $1.5 million, did 2.2, ran right straight through it, never paid any attention to it. And I always use that story with entrepreneurs, telling them that, in bad times, like right now,
yeah,
right now is the time to be out and using every asset and every resource you can to be in front of someone new. You do it respectfully. You do it, with great sensitivity to their situation and their pain. But this is the best prospecting time there ever is.
yeah.
Because most people are going to sit on the sidelines.
Wow.
And this is the time that, hey, it's a good excuse. I'm at home. Nobody's watching me.
Right.
I can do whatever I need to do. I'll get some kid time in, and and all that you need to do. But this is the time that you get ahead.
It is. So it's the doubling down on what you did, if I understand you correctly. While everybody else was retreating, you said, we're going to advance.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, and we were advancing because really we had no other choice. We were starting.
Yeah.
So in starting a brand new company, there was just no other choice. You had to go. And so everything was tripled down in terms of, just making the appointments. And I've always trained my people, and I do the same thing. I said, we can figure out the ratios. You can say you've got a 40% closing rate, or like you say in your tapes, let's go for 100%. I don't really care what the number is. Pick your number for your closing rate. Then take that number, multiply it times the average ticket that you have for your sell, and then just go, okay, that means I got to have X number of appointments. And if I'm not doing that many appointments, there's no possibility to hit the number I want, because if I got a closing rate of 40% and I see 100 people, I've got 40 orders.
Right.
It just is what it is. So it's a numbers game that is made up in making sure you do the numbers and fill the pipeline. And I always measured and talked to people about their pipelines. If you don't have activity in the pipeline, then you've got to go restart everything that you're doing. And right now is a beautiful time to be looking for opportunities, looking to help people. And like your guy was asking today, how do I price this into the community? Don't worry about how you price it. What do they, just ask them what they're willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
What's it worth to them, and just meet them right there, wherever that is. Hey, he may be surprised. They may look at him and go, we got $50,000 for this that we've, put to the side. And he normally would have only charged 30. So he said, I'll split the difference. And he goes 40 with them.
Sure.
You just got to keep your eyes open and keep asking the questions. I mean, that's what you and Guy got talking about the first time was.
Yeah.
It is constantly just keep asking those questions.
Exactly. I'm very grateful for how we met, and your first email to me was so honest. I loved it.
I'm too old to be anything but honest, because I can't remember the lies.
There you go. But let me ask you, during the time, now you were selling, it was a publication, correct?
It was selling advertising.
So you're selling advertising in a print publication.
In a recession.
In a recession. So
in the greatest recession we've known up until now.
Right. So here's the question. Anybody's closing ratio, it doesn't matter what the number is, would be lower in a time when people are pulling, when your client base, your prospects, they're pulling back. So generally people's numbers are going to fall as a percentage basis. How did you overcome that when you were calling on people and growing your sales and knowing you're dealing in a down environment? How did you overcome that negativity that was there and their reservation?
I think, first of all, it's a tremendous question, because what happened was I never walked in to sell advertising.
Come on.
I walked in to find out and learn who they were. And I did more connecting people to other resources that they needed at that given moment than I did taking advertising orders. And advertising orders ended up falling out as a consequence because they wanted to do business with you as a return or as a favor or as a good opportunity. Than others, you know, it was very clear. Look, guys, here's the statistics. If you market in a down market, and I'll give you a particular example. There was a home builder.
Yes.
A very Christian man. And so you identify like-minded people. And I went specifically after him. He was luxury homes. Now, he was building no luxury homes, no $1 million plus homes in this market. They were tanking. And he said, look, there's no advertising for me. And I said, Chris, this is the time you want to advertise. I said, let me ask you a question. When this is all over and you know we're going to get out of the recession, what do you want to be? What does it going to look like for you? It's a whiteboard. It's completely blank. You get to draw the picture. Paint it for me. And he said, I want to be the number one builder in this area. And I'd like to be at a place where I see every deal that is $1 million or more that I get a chance to quote. And I said, well, you can't get there by not being out in the market right now. I said, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you full page ads. I said, how much can you pay me? He said, I don't know if I got any money. I said, Chris, you know you got some money. I said, so just tell me how much you can pay me. Now we sell full page ads for $2,000. He said, maybe $500. I said, you got a deal. I said, when the market turns and what I'm telling you is proven true, you come back to me and pay me for it. He said, that's a deal. And we went and we got one house the first year. He did 12 houses the next year. By the time we were 4 years into the program, he was building $100+ million homes.
Wow.
And we figured out in the 5th year, he saw every home quoted for $1 million over, but 3. So he saw 97% or better of all the homes that were built. And what he was spending with us at that time was upwards of $11,000 a month.
Wow.
He was good on his side. I was good on my side. And, you know, it was at that early stage of the game, $500 meant a lot to us. I mean, you know,
Sure.
It was going to be a blank page anyway. So
Right.
I'm getting $500 for it's better than zero.
That's right.
And, you know, and I kept him in the market and I created a great client out of it.
And then I presume at some point the pricing for the ads caught up with the market when his business picked up. Is that?
Oh yeah. I mean, by the time we were into the 3rd year, he was paying full rate card, but then he would come back with more stuff. So, I mean, it got to the point where he was spending $10,000 a month with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just because he was doing internet posts, he was doing creative design. We would do articles. We would do 3-4 page spreads. We did some 16-page, you know, just anything creative, because now we were the trusted resource.
Yeah. Great story. And I'm so glad to hear it because that is exactly what's needed. And you went out. It's not like, I mean, some things in the recession are not affected. Not bad. Or some of them are affected to the positive. If you knew where to get some toilet paper, you could make some money.
Yep. Or, you know, people like Zoom communications.
Yeah, Zoom is a more realistic example. Yeah. I heard just today that they've done more Zoom traffic in the last 3 weeks than they did in a year.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot. So that's good.
And it won't stop now.
No. I mean, yeah, because people are changing their habits.
Yep.
You know, right. And I've heard that people are changing. Well, you know, this isn't so bad. We should do more of this. Yep. So we're definitely hearing that. But your business, the advertising business, is a key one. That's something they feel like they cut back on, especially the kind of ads I'm sure you were running in a publication.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the internet was coming on, and it was wide print, and
yeah,
you know, the whole 9 yards.
You had a tough thing.
Yeah.
And yet you still did it. And so you went out. So you had to be flexible, but you I'm hearing you right. You listen to them. You try to help them in any way. You made them they were the project, not the sale of the ad. I want to help you.
That's right.
And you got to know them. You listen to them. You asked a ton of questions, which we talk about a lot. You asked a bunch of questions, and then you stepped out and you helped them in ways that you didn't get remunerated for.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You look for where is the immediate pain today. I mean, it would be just as simple as somebody that needed their car fixed.
Mm-hmm.
It could be just as simple as, I need a subcontractor for this particular job, and so you make yourself relevant. You don't make yourself just knowledgeable to your profession.
Right.
Make yourself relevant. And relevancy involves the whole 360 of everything that's happening around you. So as a salesperson, you're meeting everybody, you're greeting everybody, you're learning about everybody, because I thoroughly believe the 6 degrees of influence, in that in every 6 people, we circle back to the original connection. And so you can, if you just keep working with people, they know someone who knows someone who knows, and it just keeps working its way through.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that in direct sales. If I signed you up in direct sales, 280 people that I don't know. All I'm interested in is getting in front of those 280 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to connect dots.
Yeah.
And just keep connecting them. And in the real sales game, that's all you're doing. If what you're doing is going in and selling your wares or selling your advertising or selling you're fighting an uphill battle.
Sure. So you're going in, you're winning the heart, and you're doing it by compassion, you're caring. You do that because you first ask the questions. You put them as the priority. You're customer focused. You're not get the sale focused. You're focused on them. Your obsession is to make life easier for them, life better for them, and find a place where your offering fits in. That'll become self-evident. But right now, you're going to make them the obsession. I'm here to help you. I'm going to do that. Oh, you need your car fixed. I know, whatever. You evidently helped out in some other areas, which endeared you to them. And then when the time was right, you got the business. People might think that doesn't work, but in a down market, when you go from 250 to $1 million to 1.5 to 2 point, whatever it was, on up like that, and you just sailed through that recession like it was the opposite of a recession.
Yeah.
It's proof pudding for exactly what we're talking about. So,
well, and the other thing about that, Michael, is that you may be sitting with someone today and their business is very, very down.
Yeah.
And they're struggling. They won't be.
That's right.
And therefore, you create a connection and you don't try to force something on them that they don't need today.
Right.
They're not ready. And I can't tell you how many people came back 6 months, 10 months, 1 year, 2 years later. And that's the reason why I just kept building on top of each other, because the seeds that were planted were not bad seeds, because we weren't trying to sell them something that they didn't need at the time.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good. And I want to get this out to people that right now they're in this tough market. And of course, a lot of their employers are cracking the whip and saying, push this on them. And yeah, you got to double down. You got to work hard. You got to do all those things, pray like it's all on God and work like it's all on you and all those things. But it comes down to the intangible, what I call the spirit of the sale, which is that intangible thing that's between two people that makes them feel like, I trust this person.
Right.
And I feel safe with this person, that they're not trying to put their hand in my pocket to get what little I have left. And so that's what you did, and you did it marvelously. And this is what I'm going to share with the group. And Jef, if there's and you have an idea who our market is, and what we're after, where we're at. What would you be able to offer? I mean, I'd like to be able to connect you with our audience a little bit. Is there?
Yeah,
how would you do that?
I kind of figured you might go there, and I would say there's 2 things. And the first one is consistently remember that it's never about you, but it's always up to you. And it really captures the spirit of the sell, or the spirit of any engagement. The second thing is, I learned a definition of value a few years ago, and it's really made all the difference in the world. And I
Okay.
think it's worth millions to people, because when you ask people, how do you define value? The whole conversation kind of stops, and they start hawing around money and discounts and, all these other things. And value comes down to only one thing: how did I make you better? If I make you better, if I make the relationship that I have with my wife, if I'm investing into her and making her better on a daily basis, our relationship grows. And she does the same thing. When you have a relationship in sales, relationship in business, or anything that you have where that's not profiting on both sides, they're not becoming better, that relationship will come to an end.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you think about it during these times, there's three funnels that really work through value. One is leadership, the second is relationship, and the third is creativity. And leadership is about showing the way. Right now, if you want to bring value to your clients, be a leader and show them the way. You have a message. You don't have to take the Bible into the meeting, and you don't have to hit them on the forehead with it, because that's not showing them the way. You show them by the example you set and by your positivity, but yet it's balanced with realism. So I'm meeting you right there where you are and where your pain point is. But I'm going to present to you and show you how to get out of this. I'm going to be a resource for you. Relationship is just what it is. It's always investing into that person. And then creativity is coming up with new and innovative ways to be able to solve and resolve their problems. And if you can think about value in those terms, I got to tell you, it'll be a 10x return for your business.
Yep. Yep. I love it. It's very, I like what you said there. Going to capture all that information too, because that's really good stuff, Jeff.
Well, you will. I know you.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
We just learn from each other. That's all we do.
That's right. That's right. So, well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and
I'm honored that you would even ask.
you wrote something inspirational, and I listen. I pick up on you, and I know when I'm dealing with another an economic warrior, a man of God who's a warrior, who, and by that I mean you got the ethics, you got the integrity, you got the guts, you got the courage, you got the work ethic, you got the smarts, you got the know-how, you got the experience, and you got the humility. You're not all that in that sense. Yeah. We're made of the same stuff, you and me.
Yeah, that's you said it very well right there. And every day you walk into the battlefield.
Yeah.
And and you've got to go out there with all of those tools sitting in your armor and ready to play, because it's just the way it is.
Well, Jeff, I hope that there'll be other occasions we can do some more stuff together, more interviews.
Oh, we will. We're going to do more. And you're the people that are listening just need to delve in. They need to believe, and they need to continue to follow. And I know they're tapped in because you're giving them great positive feedback, and they love that.
Now, listen, if you have any comments to share, I'm not sure how much of the Selling Among Wolves you've gotten into in the past. Do you have any feedback that you can offer folks that are considering getting in on our program?
Well, I mean, as you and I discussed, I mean, all of us are at different stages.
Yes. Yeah.
In this process.
Yeah.
And I find with most salespeople, they think they know until they humble themselves enough to realize that they don't know, and that your information and the way that you're presenting it can give tremendous concrete foundational principles that are applicable to the meeting. As you well know, I mean, when you said, look, I'm going to bring you Moses' questions.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. I want to know what in the world this guy's talking about, because I've been questioning people for 20 years and it's been everything I'm doing. And, it was really neat just to see how it had been carved out of the Bible, the same exact principles. And there's probably a lot of men and women that are doing the same thing. They just aren't aware.
Yeah.
And when they become aware, you become that much stronger at what you do.
Yeah.
It just makes you better and better. And then, you reach a stage where I think either one of us are today, which would be you become unconsciously aware of
Yeah.
what you do. I'm an old basketball coach, and athletes, if it gets to the point where you're shooting a shot and you're thinking about, you have to get your elbow in, get your hand behind the ball, you got to, make sure the wrist follows through, you'll never make the shot.
Yeah.
But once it gets to the point that you're shooting it and you don't even know you're shooting it, that's when they start going in.
Mm-hmm.
And the same is true in these sales meetings. You're going to go in, you got to think through the process of asking the right questions.
Yeah.
You got to maybe even have tidbits of reminders, but eventually it just becomes second nature.
Yeah.
And you become unconsciously aware of everything that you're doing. And that's a great place to be. That's a Jesus place.
Amen. Well, we got started. You emailed me, and I'm trying to remember what was the first thing that got you? Because I got an email from you.
It was the questions. It was the most. You had done a piece with Os Hillman.
Oh yeah.
And I was up at 3 a.m. and I was like fiddling around. I saw the thing. What the heck? I'm listening. And so I listened to that. And you started off and you said, "I'm going to give you this." And I got to the end of it, and we got 2 of the 5, I think it was. And I'm like, I want all 5 of these things.
Yeah.
I want to know what he's talking about. And so I emailed you. And I was like, come on, man, don't leave me shortchanged like that.
That's right. And I think you were wondering, like, is this guy for real or not? I was glad that you wrote me, because I thought, well, I have several weeks of Bible study with detailed scriptures and every single question and all that. So when you wrote me, it's like, sure, man, here you go.
Oh, and you did. Yeah. And I mean, that's the honorable thing. I mean, you really, really did. And it's what impressed me so much. And, by the way, I love the weekly Bible studies. You do a great job with those.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, it's.
Well, I want to say one thing back to you. You're, and I knew this from the instant I saw you, jefpiersall.com, right? Piersall.com.
Yeah.
From the minute that we spoke, I knew I wasn't dealing with, number one, a novice, somebody who didn't know what they're doing. I knew you had it, and you knew stuff. And the fact that you said, heck, I know a lot, but I don't know this. Teach me.
Yeah.
Show me that. It's like, I thought that's why you're so successful. You
got to look to learn everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud to know you. Glad to be friends with you.
Proud to know you. And same here.
All right, my brother.
Thank you very much.
On the call with me here. I'll be posting it up after I do some editing. It'll be up in a few days, probably. I'll let you know.
Let me know. I really appreciate it very much.
All right, Jeff.
It's an honor to have been asked, and I hope it helps somebody out there. If it helps one person, it's been worth the time.
Good deal.
God bless, man. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, bud. Thank you.
Okay, Mike. Thanks.
Bye-bye.